Hello, good afternoon. This is News Today. I am Emefa Akosia Adeti. Coming up this afternoon, government under pressure from labor unions to conclude negotiations on public sector-based pay adjustments for 2026 ahead of the budget presentation later in November, as they demand not less than a 10% increase to cushion workers against what they describe as rising living costs. We hear from the Employment and Labor Relations Minister. And as well, in the bulletin, Chebi faces devastating water crisis as Galamsey pollution forces shutdown of water treatment plant, and residents struggle to access clean water after Birim River turns toxic. This afternoon in the bulletin, YEA staff decry 10-month salary arrears. We have details as they say they now depend on wise and menial jobs to survive.
You can imagine the pains we are going through. It hasn't been easy at all, but that's how we've been surviving. We've been surviving under the benevolence of our friends and our family members.
We're live on DSTV channel 421 and GoTV channel 125. We're still coming to you live from our studios here in Kukumlemle, Accra. Please stay for details. I appreciate your company this afternoon. First, Deputy Attorney General and Minister for Justice, Dr. Justice Rimsai, has told an Accra High Court the government is waging a relentless onslaught on Galamsey financiers and kingpins in an effort to deal with the illegal mining menace. The Deputy Attorney General, who is leading the prosecution of Bernard Enchiboisiako, Chairman Wuntumi, told the High Court illegal mining remains the country's biggest problem, and both random galamseyers and the kingpins will be dealt with to the full extent of the law, regardless of who they may be. Kuku Asante was on court with Chairman Wuntumi, the first in the latest effort by the government to deal with illegal mining. Here is a report.
Ashanti Regional Chairman of the New Patriotic Party, Bernard Enchiboisiako, popularly known as Chairman Wuntumi, is facing two separate criminal cases of alleged illegal mining activities involving his company, Akonta Mining Limited. Both cases were heard at the High Court here in Accra, where he has pleaded not guilty to all the charges. Chairman Wuntumi's legal troubles deepened this week when he appeared before the police CID, prior to being put before two different courts in Accra to answer a total of 13 charges, all linked to alleged illegal mining operations in the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve and Samriboy in the Western region. Chairman Wuntumi and four others, including his Akonta Mining Company Limited, were arraigned on 7 counts of unlawful mining and environmental destruction. The prosecution alleged that Akonta Mining, under the direction of Chairman Wuntumi and his associates, operated illegally within the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve in 2022, despite being denied a permit to do so. They are accused of destroying about 13 hectares of land, felling over 300 trees, and erecting buildings within the reserve without authorization. After hearing arguments from both sides, the court in this matter granted Chairman Wuntumi bail in the sum of 10 million cedis with 2 sureties, one of whom must justify with landed property. Earlier in the day, Chairman Wuntumi had appeared in another criminal court where he faced 6 separate charges for breaches of Ghana's mining laws. In that case, he was granted 15 million cedis bail with 3 sureties and placed on a stop list at all entry and exit points of the country. The court also ordered him to deposit his passport, report to investigators twice a month. The 6 counts in that case includes unauthorized assignment of mineral rights and facilitating unlicensed mining operations, which prosecutors say occurred within Akonta Mining's concession at Samriboy in the Western region. A second accused person, Kwame Entry, is currently at large. Both cases stem from investigations by the Criminal Investigations Department, which found evidence of large-scale destruction in parts of the Tano Nimiri Forest Reserve. Officials say excavators bearing Akonta Mining's logo were used in operations that led to the extensive environmental damage, including river pollution and deforestation. Chairman Wontumi has maintained his innocence in both cases. Bernard Enchibo-Siako has since failed to meet the bail conditions, at least for tonight, and will sleep in police custody. What these bail conditions mean for NPP's Ashanti Regional Chairman Wontumi Bernard Enchibo-Siako is that until this trial, in which he is accused of facilitating illegal mining, is concluded, he is unable to travel outside the country, perhaps without the permission of the court. And any time he wishes to do so on any basis, he would have to apply to the court for the court to give him permission, or perhaps for the court to revise the bail conditions. But until then, Chairman Wontumi is not allowed to travel outside the country. Reporting for JoyNews, Kweku Asante, High Court Complex, Accra.
Now, speaking of Chairman Wontumi, this afternoon, JoyNews understands lawyers for the embattled Ashanti Regional Chairman are racing against time to secure his release after he failed to meet the bail conditions imposed by the Criminal Division of the High Court. Well, a little later, we'll try and get in touch with his lawyers as well to see if they've made progress in how to get him out of custody. But away from that, residents of Chebi are grappling with severe water crisis after the Chebi water treatment plant, the municipality's primary source of potable water, was shut down over 3 months. The closure comes after illegal mining activities, commonly known as galamsey, turned the once pristine Biriam River, the lifeline of the community, into a thick sludge, pushing turbidity levels to a staggering 64,000 NTU, far above the safe threshold of 2,000 NTU. The impact on daily life has been devastating. Residents are now struggling to access clean water, with families, schools and clinics forced to rely on unsafe alternatives or for long rely on sachet water. Speaking on Newstex earlier, Member of Parliament for Ibuakwa South, Dr. Kingsley Ajaman, said the situation is causing major health crisis in the municipality.
The rivers or the waters are beyond treatment. That is why the Chebi treatment plant of the Ghana Water Company has shut down. To see my people without water, when it is usually agreed that water is life, means that we have to have a clarion call, and to see the open display of these excavators along major roads in the constituency, the impunity with which this is continuing is very disheartening. I'm frightened. And as a member of parliament, to see my people have a lot of renal, skin rashes, and waterborne diseases is not something that I can be excited about. I think it's about time that we the constituents, have to come to the realization that this thing has really gotten us to our neck. We have to stop it, because those involved in this activity, the few greedy people, we the people who have good conscience, must rise up and stop this. We may not need any executive direction from the presidency. We are bearing the heat of what is happening to us. The sanitation issues that has arisen as a result of this galamsey is so much noticeable. We don't have water.
So you said there's no potable water in your constituency. How are residents coping? What sources of water is accessible to them now?
They are relying on sachet water, which is not sustainable. And even the disposal of this sachet, because it's not biodegradable, is something that is going to have a further knock-on effect on our environment.
Meanwhile, the National Anti-Illegal Mining Task Force earlier as well have been arresting some people, and we'll be bringing you that shortly on your screen. Well, on 9 months operations, and here's an update. On Tuesday, October 7, 2025, 9 months operation disrupted galamsey activities along the Ankobra River in Nzema East Municipality. of the Western region and continues to give an update that some of the equipment that were seized by NIMUS, one excavator, 100 makeshift structures set ablaze, 7 shamfangs destroyed, 88 water pump machines as well seized. It's quite a tall list. 3 gas cylinders seized, 3 shovels seized, 4 plastic chairs seized, 2 water hoses seized, 1 DSTV dish seized, 1 genset as well seized, and 1 pick as seized. This is an update that the Minister for Information or Government spokesperson has been giving us an update. Now let's go on phone and as well engage to get more on this as well. Well, Pakwesi, let's get an update. You are the spokesperson for the ministry. So yesterday, NIMUS made some arrests where some people, where are these people taken to? Where did they take them to?
Okay, all right. So, like we earlier indicated, yesterday we rounded up, a lot of, not just illegal miners, but persons who also indulge in other forms of criminalities, drug addicts, gamblers, and all of that. That particular location is a den for miscreants, if we have to put it that way. For obvious security reasons, we do not want to disclose their current location or the arrangements that accompanied that particular apprehension. But the assurance that we certainly can give is that all of them will be made to face the full rigors of the law in due time. It's for good reasons that we are unable to disclose where exactly they are or arrangements that has accompanied that particular arrest.
I mean, maybe quite curious, what kind of security do they risk, especially if we know where they are?
What kind of what
kind of security challenges would they be at risk of?
Answering that question effectively will be going into the substance of the very discussion I do not think we should put out there in the public. Now, when you embark on an operation such as this, and you round up huge numbers like we did, you would obviously, I mean, we can all agree that there would be requests or there would be petitions for some of them to be, as it were, excluded or spared and all of that. And so I'm saying it is because of these and other related reasons that we now do not want to be so explicit on the arrangement that is currently accompanying that apprehension. But you need to get the assurance, and I'm giving that to you, that all of them so apprehended will be dealt with accordingly. We just do not want to communicate so much on that arrangement.
Well, CSOs, including many others, have asked that why don't we focus on the kingpins? Many have also said that this should be a two-pronged approach, not just focus on those who are working for the financiers and the kingpins as well. Have we made any progress, especially with the arrest of these illegal miners? Surely they have financiers. Have you been interrogating them? What have they been saying?
Well, so the kingpins who actually are the investigators and the real financiers and facilitators of illegal miners operate a very complex network. That's the reality of the subject. And so if you want to see or extract information from the like president, the small boy where you are, you need a soft tax intelligence to do that, because it is only recently that Deputy Chief Executive of the Forestry Commission, for example, my brother had cause to reveal that some of the small boys, the ground, which actually take blood oaths and covenants not to disclose who the kingpins are. That is just an aspect of the complication that we are dealing with. And so you are careful in questioning them, interrogating them, and getting the right information. Thirdly, if you look at the composition of NIMUS, it is not only the military personnel who constitute NIMUS, there are also intelligence detectives and other professionals who handle some of these things. It is because of this that I'm even saying we do not want to disclose where they are, their location, or what we are doing to them, because the fight is more complex than what the ordinary eye can do. But the assurance, however, is that we have the strategy to get the kingpins, deal with them, and then deal with the excesses altogether.
Well, so I can understand the security bit, and I can also understand that you're making some progress. But these there are about a little over 100 of them, and as well, just this morning as well, there's an update. Are we saying that not even one of them is telling you at least their financiers, or because you say it's a complex way to deal with it, we cannot at least even know the progress with these financiers?
Let's assume without admitting that, for example, they have disclosed the name. Let me even use myself for the purposes of illustration. Let's say one of them mentions that Chandok is a kingpin and is the one who is actually sponsoring us. You are obviously not asking me to then say that Chandok has been named, because you see, in investigative discourses like this, some of the names that can be mentioned are just Trojan horses, just to distract you. So the fact that somebody perhaps has mentioned is, does not necessarily mean that that disclosure is absolutely true. Okay, you don't just lend to a fair private confession. Sometimes you apprehend some of these people, the names that they mention and the people that they indicate are involved. You later go and find out that it is all a fluke, just to rather distract you. So that is why we are careful in the interrogation, and more importantly, in communication, communicating the kind of conversations we have with them about who the kingpins are and who they are not. Okay, but like I'm saying, there is a whole system of intelligence gathering that is infused into the 9-month architecture, and that is giving us the results that we are looking for. Unfortunately, I'm unable to disclose, but get the assurance once again that every kingpin who is a financier, an instigator, or who is the facilitator of illegal mining will surely be brought to book. There's much that we are doing, only that for security concerns I'm not able to disclose explicitly.
Thank you. Pakwesi Shandov speaks for the ministry. Now, away from that, labour unions are ramping up pressure on the government to finalize negotiations on public sector base pay before 2026. Budget presented to Parliament later in November. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, is leading the charge, demanding a minimum 10% increase in base pay to Cusion workers from the rising cost of living. Now, Ghana Medical Association has similar demands, but better pay to address economic challenges. The National Association of Graduate Teachers, NAGRAT, is also advocating for improved compensation and working conditions with the 2026 budget looming. Labour unions are urging the government to prioritize workers' welfare and reach a mutually beneficial agreement. Speaking on PM Express last night, NAT's president, Reverend Isaac Owusu, said workers expect government to reach an agreement with Labour in their upcoming negotiations before the 2026 budget is finalized and presented to Parliament. And joining me in studio for us to understand better is Isaac Kofiaje, lead data analyst with JoyNews Research Desk, and he joins me to understand really how this calls in the right direction, really. What do you think is pushing the unions to really want to ask for this increase?
Well, so the promise from the finance minister was that this time around, he wants the 2026 budget to be read in October. So essentially, if you have anything that you want the ministry or the finance minister or government to consider, this is the best time to bring it across. But the most important thing is to look at the factors. This is the first time we are seeing Labour or some of the Labour unions actually requesting for such a low increment in their base pay. 10% is very, very low compared to the other initial, percentages that they mentioned, somewhere around 60%, 50%. But this time around, they're going for 10% minimum. And we understand that it's simply because of, in terms of numbers, the improved economic indicators where we know inflation has now fallen from 23.1% at the beginning of the year to now 9.4%. The exchange rate situation is a bit better relatively, and if you look at the fuel prices as well. But we need to also ask, when was the last time Labour got an increase in their base pay? Somewhere February, where they enjoyed that 10%. And the promise from the president was that, take this, and when things get better, we will come and then improve it for you. Possibly that's the reason why they're coming at government. But we've looked at the numbers, and the question is, does government have the fiscal muscle to even accommodate such a 10%? And what we are learning is that if you look at the budget projections, if you look at the 2025 budget, it looks like government was already anticipating that. That's why they are hoping to increase the employee compensation budget by some 18%, moving it from the current projection of 4 billion Ghana cedis to about 89 billion Ghana cedis by next year. And subsequently, government is also hoping to increase it by 13% and some 14%, 2027 and 2028. So if you ask me why this is coming at this point in time, it's simply because Labour is aware that government is finalizing preparation for the budget reading, which, according to the finance minister, he was projecting it will be read this month. But we know the normal time.
Normal time usually is November. We're in October yet. We haven't heard anything yet, especially
Absolutely.
with Parliament not even reconvening, right? Okay, well, thank you so much, Kofi. Well, joining us now is President of NAGRAT, Angel Kabonu. Thank you so much. And also joining us is Philomena Japan, spokesperson for the Ghana Registered Nurses and Midwives Association. But let's start with you, Angel Kabonu. First of all, do you think that we're quite stabilized as a country? And how realistic and sustainable is this your demand that you're giving to government?
Well, let me say that nobody can call the base percentage and the negotiation is started and completed. Rumors that we are hearing indicate that the economy is to a large extent stabilized. Therefore, this year there will be zero base pay increase. That is not acceptable. We have to go into negotiations and negotiate the base pay. Then we will know. And when we are negotiating the base pay, we will give realistic situation in the country in relation to prices of commodities and services, in relation to cost of living, inflation, the fortunes of the city vis-a-vis other currencies. Then we can all come and determine what the base pay should be.
You've done this already, and this is what you're going to be entering the negotiations with. You can let me in on what your findings have been so far.
No, it will not be fair to put it on air when these are the ingredients that we are going to take for negotiation.
Okay, but for issues like city stabilization, anything that makes the economy okay, this can be public knowledge, right?
Yes. But there are also others. So, for example, city stabilization, we'll compare the situation we find at this time vis-a-vis what was pertaining last year around this time. How did that affect increases of price of commodities? Are you getting me?
Yeah.
So it's just not that you stable city stability. You look at stability in relation to the price of service in the market.
I hope I still have you. Network is not too clear. Do I still have you, Angel Kabonu?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Well, so I'm also thinking, whilst you're looking at all these variables that you're going to the negotiation table with, how sustainable are these variables that you're going to the negotiation table with? If government starts...
That's what the government should tell us. That they have the one to be able to keep the city stable. They have the ability to keep inflation down. They have the ability to stabilize prices. That is the job of government, to tell us and assure us that that's what they are working towards and that they will achieve it.
What really will be the sticking points in this negotiation, especially, the finance minister hinted earlier that it will be in October. As we know, the culture and the tradition will be that per constitution, it would be in November. If it doesn't happen this October and it reverts to what we have already known, will it change your position at all? Will the negotiation, the variables you're going onto the negotiation table will change at all?
I will not advise the finance minister to read the budget before base pay negotiation. Base pay negotiation should take place before the minister reads budget. So if the minister is talking about October, then he will have to quickly convene organized labor to start negotiating on the base pay. As we speak, they have commenced negotiations on the minimum wage. So immediately they finish minimum wage, they will have to convene organized labor to commence negotiations on base pay.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us on the news today.
Thank you.
Now, away from that, the unpaid nurses and midwives, plus teachers who have been working for the last 9 to 13 months without pay will have to wait a bit longer for at least 2 more months before getting paid. That's according to the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Dr. Abdul Rashid Pelpo. A number of the unpaid nurses and teachers group, numbering over 6,000, held a protest picketing the Health and Finance Ministry in demand of immediate payment of all salary arrears owed them. Listen to the leadership as he narrates the situation to Evans on PM Express.
You wake up in the morning with no hope of how you are going to get money to buy food or get money for transportation to work. But we try to, depend on family and friends. And how long are you going to depend on family and friends?
For me, I owe like almost 10,000.
10,000 cedis.
I have colleagues who owe about 21,000, 11,000 and the rest.
Who do you owe? Where are you getting the money from? Where are you borrowing from?
Yes, I'm borrowing from friends and then colleague teachers. That's what we are living on.
How does it affect your work?
Mentally and emotionally, we are not stable because myself, for instance, I wake up in the morning, going to school, going to class hungry. Meanwhile, the child that I'm going to teach is satisfied or has eaten. Like you feel like just sleep. It got to a time my siblings wanted me to come home because they are working, I'm also working, but I call them every day for money and all that. So it affects us mentally, and we are not stable. We are not stable because sometimes when you go to class, if you don't take care, you might vent your anger on the children.
Well, addressing the concerns of the unpaid workers, the Minister for Employment and Labour Relations, Dr. Abdul Rashid Pelpo, says government is working to resolve the challenge, as he also noted that even the minister is yet to be paid.
There is some level of political decision attached to it, not necessarily because they wanted to pay them, but just to give them the impression that they too are employed. But, we are not complaining. We are looking at the situation where we can satisfy the will of the people who have given us the mandate. And we are working towards ending this problem of unpaid. We acknowledge the fact that young people as they are need to start life and need to be comfortable working for what they have been employed to do. And so we are doing everything to make it possible that we solve this problem maybe before the end of the year.
So again, for Murtala and Eric, your assurance to them is that before the end of the year, they'll be paid?
They will be satisfied.
Okay.
Well, still on unpaid workers, about 300 staff of the Youth Employment Agency say they have had to either rely on taking up menial jobs or depending on their spouses for survival, as their salaries have delayed for about 10 months. According to the group, they are yet to receive any remuneration after being employed in November 2024. At a press conference in Kumasi, convener for the concerned group, Isaac Yao Akoto, said individuals who were permanently employed in November 2024 after serving as contract staff for 2 to 8 years have been at post since December 1, 2024, but have not received any salary payments despite completing the required public service processes, including technical and financial clearances. The agency has yet to pay their salaries, citing an ongoing audit as the reason. Dr. Oseya Okoto is convener for the group and joins me via Zoom. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. So, paint a better picture for me. How bad is the situation for you and your colleagues?
Thank you, Emifa. Thank you for this opportunity. Honestly, it's been really bad. We've been depending on these salaries since 2017 to date. And for 10 close months, it's not been paid. You can imagine the pains and we are going through. So it hasn't been easy. As I mentioned earlier on, we depend on our spouses and other menial jobs to survive. The psyche, the psychological effect alone has not been easy. Imagine somebody you were able to feed your family, pay school fees, and for some close to 10, 11 months, you're unable to afford all these things. The psychological effect. It has been troubling indeed, but we hope something good comes out of it.
Well, you say that you have gone through the processes, technical, financial, every other clearance that you have to go through. It's just the fact that you have not received the payment at all. Whilst going through the processes, have you been engaging the relevant authorities at all?
Yes, please, Emifa. As indicated earlier, we are not just new staff. Let us get this clear. We've been on the agency's payroll, some from 2017, 2018, 2019, whatsoever. So an advertisement was placed by the agency calling applicants to apply for various positions in the agency as permanent staff. They did apply. We are told technical clearance was received, which we have that document to that effect. Financial clearance was received. We have document to that effect. An interview by Public Service Commission was done. We have document to that effect. And everything is done. Look, when the things start, when the payment starts seized, we never rush to the media. We have engaged our CEO internally, written several letters, engaged so many stakeholders, engage a lawyer to write to him, demanding our salaries. We've written to the sector minister, to the chief imam. In fact, as mentioned during the press conference, we never intended to bring the agency's name into disrepute. We wanted to solve this internally, but well.
Why do you think this is disrepute? Why do you think this is dragging the agency into disrepute?
The agency being in the media for this news is not really good.
Well, the agency has cited an ongoing audit as a reason for the delay. Do you agree?
No, the agency has not. The agency that we had a meeting with our CEO, and he told us that we should man our various duty posts, and that he will conduct an audit. The audit is done in March this year. It is not an ongoing. It is done this March this year. We wrote to the agency, then they responded through our lawyer that they will need a month more. That is till end of June to get back to us. We didn't hear from them.
The June that we've gone past?
Yes, the June that has gone past, yes. We didn't hear from them. We again wrote a reminder through our legal representatives. To date,
right?
We've not heard anything.
Okay,
yes, it's bizarre, but that is it.
Mr. Akoto, thank you for drawing our attention to this situation and moving away from that particular story. We'll bring you more stories on how Ghana's military recruitment age limit is under scrutiny, with calls to extend the eligibility age from 25 to 35 years. Minister for Communications Samuel Nate George and Majority Chief Whip Roxanne Nelson Dapemekbo are pushing for an immediate review to allow more citizens to serve. The Ghana Armed Forces is currently recruiting, but citizens above 25 years are not eligible. However, security analyst and former military officer Colonel Festus Abuaje holds a contrary view.
The assumption in his statement is that they have not had the opportunity and must be given the opportunity. The question I'm asking is, when they were 20 years, or 21, or 22, 23, 24, 25, why didn't they seek the opportunity or seize it to recruit themselves or to be recruited into the armed forces? Why did they have to wait for another 5 years?
Maybe.
Let's assume that during the 5 years, they had attained professional skills. So we're allowing another 2 years for you to come in as a professional. We are not like America and the UK, where people are unwilling to join the service or services. So they are giving them inducements. Some will be promised higher education, some will be promised this. That is not the reality in Africa, where, by and large, we have a youth bulge, there is unemployment, and at any time that you want to recruit people into security services, you have more
far more than the numbers that you are looking for. So, sincerely, I don't understand the logic in the statement that he's making.
Colonel Festus Abaji, retired, also explained recruiting people above 25 years could lead to an increase in health budgets of the Defense Ministry.
The fact of the matter is that as we age, we begin to experience health challenges. So if you bring in older people, it is likely to increase the health budget of the Ministry of Defense. Because many more people who are aged who end up at the military hospitals looking for this or that treatment.
You're watching News Today. In other news, a young woman with cerebral palsy, Nuhu Radia, has encouraged others with a condition to ignore stigma and focus on pursuing their aspirations. She said that with determination and passion, individuals with cerebral palsy can make a positive impact in their lives and society as a whole. Radia made these remarks in an interview after her organization, the Naglugu Care Foundation, organized a walk to raise awareness about cerebral palsy on World Cerebral Palsy Day.
Nuhu Radia, a level 300 student at the University for Development Study, has dedicated herself to supporting children with cerebral palsy. Through her NGO, she works to raise awareness about the condition and advocate for societal support. Despite cerebral palsy challenges to movement, posture, and muscle coordination, Radia remains determined to achieve her goals. Speaking in an interview to mark World Cerebral Palsy Day, Radia emphasized that individuals with such condition have dreams that deserve to be nurtured.
And I have been stigmatized, but all I do is I say like all people want to happy or happy. I will put my life in me. Can never bring me down. So I have to pay for my pay. Please, if you are stigmatized by anybody, try to use that stigmatization as a stepping stone more than perfection. The better stigmatization can never be greater than you. So don't see it as anything. See it as a motivation to bring the better you are.
Co-founder of the Nalo Care Foundation, Marvin Selassie, urged the public to support Radia's effort in creating awareness.
So all around the world, 7th of October is when the world decides to celebrate and show solidarity for persons that live with cerebral palsy. I, introducing myself and my co-founder, together we co-founded the Nalo Care Foundation right here in Tamale, a foundation that exists to support all persons that live with disabilities, to carry out education, advocacy, and also interventions that in the long run will help to improve the lives and dignity of people that live with.
You're watching News Today, the Small Police Day.
Hello, good afternoon and welcome to the business segment on JoyNews Today with me, Pius Kojobaka. The Bank of Ghana is making major changes to how it supplies dollars to the market as part of efforts to stabilize the cedi. In a bold move, the central bank will now auction $300 million every week, a shift aimed at boosting foreign exchange availability and easing pressure on the local currency.
Ghana has also moved away from selling dollars every other week to more of spot or daily, and has also moved to provide the amount immediately to the commercial banks that would participate in the activity. The central bank, by this initiative, would no longer be managing foreign exchange allocations for bank customers. The regulator believes this new approach will provide more certainty to the commercial banks in terms of dollar supply. Well, for those that are worried about this initiative depleting the country's reserves, the assurance is that it will not happen. because it looks like the central bank will be using the windfall made from the sale of gold purchase through its domestic program to feed the market, a move that will protect the country's reserves. Persons close to the Bank of Ghana have told Joy Business that they will still go ahead with its reserve accumulation program. It believes that all these initiatives could improve dollar supply on the market, which may go a long way to firmly stabilize the Ghana cedi. The local currency's rate of depreciation against the dollar over the past 2 weeks has slowed significantly, but we are not sure for now whether the cedi is back on that path to stability as witnessed earlier this year.
Blemazado, a small community once defined by struggle, a new chapter is unfolding, one powered by hope, technology and opportunity. Star Oil Ghana has commissioned the first ever artificial intelligence smart lab in the municipality to equip young people with 21st century digital skills. More from Ivy Setoji.
It's a dream come true for the people of Blemazado, a small community in the Angloga municipality that now boasts the first ever artificial intelligence smart lab in the Volta and Oti regions. The facility, built by Star Oil Ghana in partnership with Coral Reef Innovation Africa at the cost of 1.5 million Ghana cedis, aims to expose students to robotics, coding, and artificial intelligence, transforming how learning happens in deprived communities. The project was built in memory of Dr. Leonard Yang Kaleji, the late brother of the chairman of Star Oil, Togbi Konamato the first, who founded the community's first basic school. Star Oil says the Blemazado facility is only the beginning, with plans to build more AI labs, health centers, and water projects across the country as part of its corporate social responsibility drive. Philip Kwame Teku is the CEO of Star Oil.
This project has cost us, including the infrastructure, nearly 1.5 million Ghana cedis. We believe that this project must be sustained, and together we'll be working with the community leaders, the Ministry of Education, and our partners Coral Reef to ensure that it is sustained for the foreseeable future. We are especially grateful to the Honorable Minister for joining us today. We sent him an invitation at short notice, and he responded very quickly because he saw this as a very good opportunity to bring this technology to the youth and people of Blemazado.
Managing partner of Coral Reef Innovation Africa, Richard Ose Enim, says their goal is to make AI accessible to every African community.
Is set up to build these labs. We're a Pan-African entity where we've got presence here in Ghana, Nigeria, Swatini, South Africa. We partner with Access Bank, GCD, EcoBank, and a few others. And the idea is to make these immersion environments, AI labs, accessible to different communities. 3 words that describe the work that we do: access, equity, and inclusion.
Ivy Setoji filed that report. Ending business on JoyNews Today with me, Pius Kojobaka. Dara will be at 1 p.m. with Marketplace. Sports is next. Hello and welcome to the sports segment with me, Benaya Elom Dapamapo. Former Black Stars midfielder Lai Kingston has vowed to give 110% to the job following his appointment as head coach of the Uganda's national youth teams. The Federation of the Uganda Football Association confirmed the appointment of Lai Kingston's appointment on a 2-year deal. He's been speaking exclusively to Joy Sports.
To to make impact. To make impact in everywhere I go. So looking at the Ugandan job, for me, I think is the perfect time to take it. The reason why I said that is something that I was looking for. Something that I was looking for. I've done it in the academy level, and now different challenge, different platform, a national environment. It's a different challenge. If I want to grow, this is the area that will take me to the next level. So I saw that as an opportunity for me to show what I can do to the rest of the world. Because I've done it in the academy level. In the academy level, we all know, in a small space. But as a national head coach of national youth teams, I think it's a bigger platform. It's national. So for me, I saw that as an opportunity to showcase what I can do to the world. To give 110%, 110% to the job. You know, whatever I signed for, I'm going to give my all. And then we leave the rest. You know, I'm going to give 110%. I can't wait. I can't wait.
Black Stars head coach Utuado has cautioned his side against complacency, describing it as a big danger ahead of the crucial World Cup qualifier against the Central African Republic. Ghana sits on top of Group I with 19 points and could secure a ticket to next year's global event with a victory, provided Madagascar drop points against Comoros.
Chad was a very, very strong lesson for us. Yeah, I just hope that we learned out of this. We have to take it serious till the last minute. We have to fight defensively, especially to the last minute. Surely, I know we have our offensive strength and we will create chances and we have to score. And I'm pretty much sure we will score, but it's very, very important that everybody's on his toes till the last minute. And like I said, we took a lot of learnings from Chad, and I have a very, very good feeling that that we can hold the zero in this game, and we'll be able to score 1 or 2 goals. It's difficult to say. You know, we had matches where we played on a neutral ground, where we didn't perform as well, and we had games where we played in an away match, full stadium, and we performed, and we won, like in Mali, for example. So it's difficult to say if it's a margin or not. I'm happy that we are playing on natural ground. I'm happy that we don't play in the afternoon. It's more going late to the evening, so it's good. And this is truly an advantage for us. And it's easier for our players to adapt. So it was a short preparation now, and but the players look sharp, and we have to win. And this is all what I'm thinking of.
And that's it for sports with me, Benaya Elom Dapamapo.
And that'll be all for the news today. I am Emefa Akosiadati. For more news, do log on to myjoyonline.com. Thank you for watching.